Yo. What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? We are back for another week of Just a Fan Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, guess what? We are live on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook right now. Guess what? We just started a TikTok account over the weekend. Got a few videos up. So look for us also on on TikTok. As a matter of fact, let me do this for y'all. Is that Just a Fan Pod? So I'm gonna put this in the chat for y'all. That way it's easy for you. There you go. Get put it in the chat for y'all. All right, so let's get this thing started. Oh, get out of this. I don't want that. All right. Anyway, I am quarter host of this thing, that Wildcat quarterback that runs it, NFL Encyclopedia, Coach Williams. What's up, Donald? What's up, Jesse?
What's up, Don?
Over this direction, panel 316 coming straight out of Houston, the defensive leader of this thing, y'all. H-Town, what's up, man?
I can't call it, man. I apologize for missing last show. I had some personal bits I had to attend to, but big ups to Brandon for holding it down by himself on the show. I was trying to I'm driving on the highway and I'm trying to be in the chat box and talk and everything. Brandon held it down, man. He held it down. So
yeah, man. I tried my best, man. You know, I did what I could do. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's jump into this, man. So yesterday, the good man up 95 North in Baltimore.
Oh my.
Baltimore quarterback Lamar Jackson from Louisville University puts out a tweet. And I'm not gonna sit and try to find a tweet and read the whole thing, but basically
that boy wrote a manifesto. Go ahead.
And he was like, basically, I still went out of Baltimore. I made trade demands back on, I believe, March 2nd or something like that. So, but of course, it's March 28th, and less than 3 hours. Unless something happens, this man's going to be in Baltimore still when we wake up tomorrow morning. So, Eric, talk to me about this Lamar Jackson thing, man, because I know we touched on this about 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack with this whole scenario. If I'm not mistaken, Baltimore made a lucrative offer to him before the season was over. If I'm not mistaken, would have made him basically one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the league. And he balked at it, so they put the exclusive rights franchise tag on him, and supposedly he asked for a trade before this tag was placed on him. So there's that part. Now, he's asking for a trade, but here's the problem. And I made a short TikTok video about that. Make sure you find us on TikTok because we make takes all week long on TikTok. For those of you who want to get your Just a Fan podcast fix throughout the week between shows. Anyway, I digress. Point I'm making is is that he's asking to be traded, and he still wants to be one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the league. He wants a guaranteed contract. And basically, he could be possibly pricing himself out of the league. And I know people are like, whoa, that's far fetched. That's crazy. That don't make no sense. But if you think about it, with that franchise tag, you're looking at probably at the least 2 first-round draft picks. So you got teams that's like, I know you probably say, well, there's a team that's willing to give up 2 because they need a quarterback bad. They'll give up 2 first-round draft picks. Okay. But then you're talking about his salary. And yes, I understand the salary cap is going up every year. But for what he could be possibly asking for, in addition to the team that trades for him giving up that level of draft capital, they're in the process, you be in the process of losing players. So you basically be Baltimore, wherever city you're in. Because basically, if and I'm gonna bring up a name that Baltimore fans do not like to hear, because paying him, this gentleman, basically gutted your team. Joe Flacco. Okay. Joe Flacco got that big deal. It was a mass exodus.
Yeah, they got rid of a lot of players on defense. I remember that.
Mass
Left and right.
Mass exodus. And any team that's willing to give up that amount of capital and pay Lamar Jackson what most people allegedly think he wants, you're basically going to put your team in hock, because if you sign him and to give him what he wants and give up the trade capital for that, you had better win the Super Bowl that year, because everything is going to be downhill from there. Okay. I don't think the Lions have been a really, really smart, they've been a really, really smart franchise. And Jared Goff has been playing really well for them.
Yeah, and actually,
and I don't think they would. I don't think that front office is silly enough to pull that trade.
I don't think so either. I mean, you have 2 good receivers for Jared Goff moving forward. And I know Lamar Jackson can thrive with those same 2 receivers, and then the ground game they have. But you gotta remember too, we also talking about his salary. Yeah, they might be willing to give up 2 first-round picks, but you have to give up 2 first-round picks, then trade Jared Goff somewhere else. And we don't know what his market is going to be. We don't know what you're going to get back in return for him. Then if you pay Lamar Jackson a salary, it's the salary. Because assuming he wants to get paid more than what Deshaun Watson is getting, well, it's not so much more than what Deshaun Watson is getting. He wants something similar as far as guaranteed money.
And I want to address that. I'm glad you brought that up, Brandon. Even Cleveland realized the mistake they made.
Yeah.
They restructured Deshaun Watson's salary. Like, man, what were we thinking?
But the thing about it is, though, but here's the thing: when you restructure a contract, the only thing you're doing is you're moving base salary money into signing bonus. So all that signing bonus money just now piled up. So for the next 3 years, 2024, 2025, and 2026, his cap hit is $64 million. You're not going to have much cap space to do anything with that. Mm-hmm. And if you restructure, then it's going to squeeze in 2025 and 2026. You definitely don't want to do that. So going back to Lamar Jackson, let's say he's looking at $50 million a year, but he wants fully guaranteed. Like, now, I don't know what the cap hit is going to be, because I don't understand all this contract language talk and stuff. But all I'm saying is, it's not going to be, it won't be good for Detroit, because Detroit has young players who they're going to have to pay eventually. I don't think they're paying Amon St. Brown right now. He's probably still on a rookie contract, I'm assuming. You just drafted Jameson Williamson last year in the first round. You're going to have to pay him. Aiden Hutchinson is going to be coming up in a few years. You're going to have to pay him. So paying Lamar Jackson now over for whatever length of contract he wants is not going to be feasible for you in the future. It may work now for 2 or 3 years, but you're going to be hamstrung with that salary cap hit or that contract.
And let's just be honest here. with a team, and we're just talking about the Lions because Donald brought it up. Thank you, Donald. Um, but let's go ahead and be honest here. The problem with the Lions is not their offense. They're not a quarterback away from winning it all.
Thank you.
Okay. They need help on the defense, which they made some moves in this offseason to be fair to improve that defense. But even then, let's be honest. They're not going to win it all right now.
No.
And if you're not going to win it all right now, is that move really a lucrative move? Is it a prudent move? Is it something that, because again, if you are going to go after a Lamar Jackson and trade, knowing what you have to give up, you're wagering your future.
Yes.
And then you're wagering a lot of cap space.
Yes.
So if you're not going to win it all right now, you're going to lose some guys down the line.
Yes.
In the process of keeping a Lamar Jackson.
Exactly.
So that's why a lot of teams balked. They like, whoa, they put that franchise tag on him, and and then then he wants what? And he wants a guarantee. Oh, wait a minute, let's throw another caveat in this. He's injury prone. He is now labeled as an injury prone quarterback, whether you like it or not. That's the label. You know how Snoop said murder was the case that they gave me? Injury prone was the label that they gave him. So that's something that teams, if I'm a GM, I'm looking at that and I'm going, well, hey. Man, I don't know.
Yeah, that's tough. Honest to God, it's tough. So going back to Detroit, I mean, you said defense. I mean, they drafted Hutchinson, a defensive end, in the first round. They drafted another defensive end who seems to be coming along in the fourth round. They added DBs and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson and Emmanuel Mosley. So, they add a couple more pieces and, nose tackle, a couple linebackers. They might be fine on defense.
Yeah.
Because you got Lamar Jackson, but if the offense not putting enough points for the defense to keep up, to hold off, defense giving them more points than the offense scoring, and Lamar Jackson ain't going to matter.
Thanks. So yeah, it's definitely like, it's not a cut and dry thing. And please, people, there's been people talking about, man, we should go after him and do it. Okay, you have to consider cap space that you currently have, cap space that you'll have down the road. You also have to consider what type of draft capital that you have that's going to make it feasible for Baltimore to even consider trading him to you. And I'm going to just say right now, AFC teams, I wouldn't even think about it because they're going to want way more if they're going to draft him. Trade him within conference. I'm just saying.
Yeah. And right now there's not, there are NFC teams that could use them, but they, like you said, they don't want to. The only team I've heard rumored that might take a swing on him is Indianapolis. But
they're going to have to give up a king's ransom.
Yeah, because even though you got rid of Matt Ryan, and so you need a quarterback, but Jonathan Taylor's on the books. Michael Pittman, if he's not on the books, he's going to be on the books soon. And what I mean by on the books is he's going to be on that second contract, which is going to be very, very expensive. Shaq Leonard's on the books. His contract is expensive. They still have to force Buckner. So they have some expensive players on that team. And you're talking about losing those guys. And Indianapolis going to have to do a great job. I know that's another thing too. If you trade for Lamar Jackson, you have to be good at drafting. And if you're not a team that drafts well, and you just sitting around running with Lamar Jackson running around in circles, what good does that do you?
If you're not a GM that is used to finding gems late in the draft, you should not trade for Lamar Jackson. You got to be a team that can go without first-round draft picks and still find really solid players, third, fourth, fifth round, day three guys.
And rookie free agents too, because you need a depth chart.
Because you're gonna have to have almost your whole roster is gonna probably have to be on a rookie deal.
Yeah.
As soon as those guys are they're at the end of their rookie deal, you gonna have to let them walk.
And continue to draft well.
Yeah,
And that's what happened with the Rams when they said F them picks. They
and
had
look,
had all those bad contracts, but couldn't draft well. And
come
not
on,
only could they not draft well, they couldn't bring in rookie free agents, and that team fell apart a lot soon. I mean, yeah, they went to the Super Bowl and won, but they fell down. So
it's literally financially selling your soul to the devil.
yes,
And it's like, okay, you sign your name on the dotted line with the devil and say, I want a Super Bowl. Well, give me this, and this. And you cash in and get the Super Bowl, and the devil's sitting right there with his pitchfork going, your soul belongs to me now.
Yep.
And that's basically what happened to the Rams.
Yeah. And
Philly really got screwed because they signed the same contract and they didn't get the Super Bowl win. Come on.
All right. So, a couple of bruh moments, okay? We have 2 anniversaries today, okay? Speaking of Baltimore, I'm for the old Baltimore fans. I'm sorry, I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings or bring back bad memories, but where's it at? Today's the anniversary that the Irsay family packed up the Baltimore Colts franchise into the Mayflower truck and moved them to Indianapolis. Happy anniversary, Baltimore, Indianapolis, Colts, and Irsay.
You're wrong for that. That was a hurtful moment. That was one of the hurtful moments in football history.
Man, what?
You wrong for that.
Sorry, Baltimore fans. I have nothing against you, but I just had to bring that up because it's the anniversary of it.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Now, this one is not so much of an anniversary. It's just look at today's date. And if you are a Buccaneers fan, a Panthers fan, and a Saints fan, hold on. You know that today is March 28th.
328.
That's when the Atlanta Falcons were winning the Super Bowl 28-3 over the New England Patriots. And you thought the game was over. You would have thought that the game would have been over between the between Atlanta Falcons and New England Patriots.
I'm surprised they're not more Saints fans. Because Saints fans are super petty.
Oh.
And I'm surprised I haven't seen it all over my Facebook timeline.
I'm surprised too, to be honest with you.
I'm friends with a lot of Saints fans. And I just knew, because every chance they get to take a shot, every time, they're going to take a shot at Atlanta. And it's hilarious. Because you one of the people, you sitting back there like,
You were up 28-3. That was like what, late in the third quarter, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, all Atlanta got to do is run the ball because you got 2 running backs. At the time was what? Tevin Coleman and what was other boy's name? Anyway, and Kyle Shanahan's the offensive coordinator. And Kyle Shanahan would, from his father's system, okay? Listen to me, his father's system. You run the ball, you're up 28-3 in the Super Bowl. Late in the third quarter, all you got to do is run the ball, run the clock, probably 3 or 4 possessions, and you win this Super Bowl. And you end up losing this game. I don't know how in the world. I still to this day don't know when the world happened. I'm about to go back and watch that Super Bowl at the end. I'm not watching the whole thing. I'm about to go back and really watch the Super Bowl because it's
Kyle Shanahan.
Eric, I don't want to hear it.
It's Kyle Shanahan.
Eric, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. You are up 28-3
It's Kyle Shanahan.
in the Super Bowl, late in the third quarter.
It's Kyle Shanahan.
Run the ball. Run the ball.
Fool me once.
Just
It's Kyle Shanahan. Kyle
look,
Shanahan,
look,
Kyle
hold on, wait,
Shanahan has
wait,
lost
wait,
two
wait,
Super
wait,
Bowls the
wait,
same way.
wait. Look, see this? Eric, let's pretend this book is a football. Blue 33 said, Hut, turn around, hand the ball off. That's what you do.
Kyle Shanahan has lost two Super Bowls that same way.
You run the ball. But yeah, Saints fans are petty. But if you're a Panthers and Buccaneers fan, you probably feel the same way too. You up 28-3, and so today's March 28th, and every year they're gonna remind those Falcons fans. And if you're a Falcons fan, you probably took off work today. You probably not gonna
You
watch
just
this,
going to take it, man.
huh?
I said he's just going to take it, bro.
Look, they took the week off. Okay, they took the week off.
Hey, man, they just gonna have to take it, man.
They gonna have to don't But
Yeah,
anyway, so with that being said, that segues to us talking about now. As you can see in the title, it says NFL South Talk. What is NFL South Talk? If you don't know, that means AFC South Talk and NFC South Talk. And what I also mean is, we are going to be talking about these 8 teams draft needs and for this year after they made some moves because free agency's not over, but like a lot of big stuff is over. So yeah, let's talk. Well, let's start with the NFC South and let's start with the Falcons. Speaking of the Falcons, 28-3. Lord have mercy.
So
Eric,
they. I'm sorry.
Eric, I'm sorry. Real quick, this is what I'm going to do. You do one NFC South team. I do an AFC South team. We just bounce back and forth like tennis.
Sounds good.
All right.
All right. So Atlanta, they have verbally, Arthur Blank has verbally come out and been quoted as saying that they're gonna go with Desmond Ritter as their starting quarterback, who had some good moments during his few starts. However, I'm still gonna put down quarterback as a need for the Atlanta Falcons because I'm not really convinced by the depth. They still need another corner on the other side of AJ Terrell. Linebacker is an issue, and where's the pass rush? I'm just saying.
And
So
I think eventually they're gonna need another 3 tech because Grady Jarrett keep getting older and older.
and that's the thing. So all 3 levels of the defense need to be addressed by Atlanta, and I still think that quarterback is Desmond Ritter could be the man, but I mean,
Hey, they got your boy Taylor Heineke from Washington.
Taylor Heineke's a solid backup. But honestly, in this day and age, you probably need 3 good quarterbacks. I'm gonna just be real with you because we saw what happened to San Francisco in the NFC Championship. They went through 4 quarterbacks from the time the season started to the time that they lost in the playoffs. And they were stuck with Josh Johnson in the end. And we saw how that ended. So, I still, because what if, I guess they're saying if Desmond Ritter, falls apart, they going to go with Taylor Heineke, who can be a capable starter. But I don't know. We'll see. But definitely all 3 levels of the defense for Atlanta, cornerback, linebacker, and edge. So I think that's what it is. If you're an Atlanta Falcons fan, please chime in. Give us your thoughts on what you think your team really needs to address in the draft. But that's what I have for ATL. Brandy?
All right, so first team on my list is the Houston Texans. Um, it says quarterback, which I definitely agree. They have Case Keenum, who is a veteran, and it's interesting about Case Keenum real quick. Because I was just talking to Eric about this pre-show. I said, man, this guy was in Minnesota. He had that one good season, and after that, he just fell off the face of earth, man. And I mean, he's a Band-Aid player. Um, so yeah, they definitely need a quarterback, and I'm sure they're going quarterback number 2 overall behind Carolina. Wide receivers in need. They signed Robert Woods, but Robert Woods is no more than a number 2. They need an anchor wide receiver. I don't know if they'll address that this year in the draft. I mean, I'm sure they probably draft a receiver. Now, will he be an anchor receiver? I don't think so. I'm Now I could still be proven wrong. We'll see what happens, but that probably won't be till next year. But they probably still draft a receiver and just keep it moving. Offensive center, that's a need. I know it's not a high value position, but I value that position more than a lot of people probably would. Even though it probably won't be picked at number 2 because no center is good enough number 2. Linebacker need. Um, I'm not sure what their linebackers are, but probably will do need a linebacker. And D line, I'm sure that's a need because the only defense lineman I know that team is Malik Collins, and that's not putting fear in anybody. So Houston quarterback, which probably dress number 2, wide receiver, probably decent. Offensive center, linebacker, defensive line. The website that I was using, CBS Sports, was saying safety, but with Jimmy Ward and Jalen Petrie, I don't see them needing a
I
safety.
don't, I don't, I don't understand that unless it doesn't make sense for them to say
No,
they
not
need
at
a
all. Not at
safety.
all.
Because if anything, if you really look on papers, that's probably the best unit on their defense in Houston. Is probably the back end as a secondary.
It might be the best. It might be the best unit. Period.
Yeah, it
A
might be the
safety.
it might be the best unit in the division. It could potentially be
No, well, I don't know about the division. Oh, you talking about
the best secondary in the division.
yeah. But I was also
Arguably,
talking about,
it could be.
they were the best unit on the team as well.
No, I don't disagree with that either. Depending on what they're gonna do, there were a couple of players I just knew were gonna sign with Houston, but they didn't. They actually signed with um, division rivals like Aziz Al Shire. I just knew he was gonna go and be the mic backer for Houston, but he signed with the rival Tennessee Titans, so that was really interesting.
Yeah, and then
Well,
Samson Akibon went to
Ebucon.
Ekipon. So we'll talk about that when I talk about those teams. Eric, who's your next team in the NFC South?
Uh, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers,
Okay.
the team that basically stumbled, bumbled, and fumbled into a division championship last year. One of the biggest things I could see that they would possibly need is going to be interior offensive line. Um, Besides the glaring need at quarterback, because I'm sorry, folks, and y'all can get mad if you want to, but Baker Mayfield, come on, okay. Oh, but he played well at the Rams. Baker Mayfield does just enough for people to trust him to give him a bag. And then when the chips are down, he turns back and Baker Mayfield starts baking up turnovers. Okay. So Kyle Trask is the backup, from what I understand. And um, I just don't, I really don't trust the quarterback situation. It's not something that I'm too impressed with. Um, the the defensive excuse me, I'm sorry, the offensive line needs to be bolstered. They have a solid excuse me, they have a solid receiving core, but we're also possibly looking at them maybe doing something to add some depth to the backfield. But again, not a pressing need. You got Rashad White. So it's kind of like, you know, tight end is a need. Cameron Braid, if I'm not mistaken, signed somewhere else. Rob Gronkowski is not coming back, especially if Brady's not there. I think tight ends a need. They did well to try to retain most of the defense, but you could also look at maybe someone to complement Vita Vea along the defensive line.
Yeah, Cameron Brate's a free agent.
Has he signed yet?
No,
Okay.
I thought he did too, but no. There was also trade rumors that Mike Evans could be traded. Um, and then Akeem Hicks, who was a compliment to Vita Vea, I mean he's a free agent now. So I think Levante David is back in Tampa Bay as linebacker with Devin White, but yeah, they need someone to complement Vita Vea. Definitely need a tight end, and could definitely use a wide receiver, especially if Mike Williams gets traded. I mean, Mike Evans gets traded.
Yeah. So also I forgot left tackle Donovan Smith is a free agent. So tackle along with guard probably is going to be something that they definitely need to address in the draft. And probably, and in my opinion, probably early.
Yeah. Do you know what pick they have?
I do not.
Let me
I
see.
can find out. I think they picked late because of
Of a trade.
well, no, because I mean they were a playoff team. I
That's
know, right?
right.
It's hard to believe they were a playoff team.
That's right.
It's
They were.
it's really hard to believe.
Yes.
Yes,
Uh,
they were. Yeah,
so they picking number 19. They might be able to get I mean, they can get an interior offense line. I don't know if they be able to get a. They might be able to get a left tackle, but be careful who you get a left tackle because there's a guy who I listen to, who I trust when it comes to offensive line. There's a left tackle coming out of Northwestern, and people are trying to compare him to Rashawn Slater, saying he's next to Rashawn Slater. He's not Rashawn Slater. So, um, but you can get yourself a left tackle, but you're almost stretching it. So I would try if they can't get a certain left tackle, I would try to go interior offensive line.
yeah, and a lot of these other positions in need they can address throughout the draft. But
Yeah,
if you're gonna, if there's a left tackle there at 19, they need to go ahead and jump on it.
yeah,
Because yeah, I don't know if Donovan Smith is gonna come back or not.
probably not.
He's still out there. So, and you know, to kind of break in this division discussion, yeah, you got to look at it. And it's like, okay, free agents who have not been signed yet. If they haven't been signed yet, it's gonna be one or two things. Either the teams that are looking at them are like, yeah, they're over the hill, or there's something wrong with their play, or these guys may be asking for too much. If
And
you go
and,
back and talk about
yeah,
pricing yourself out of the league.
and the thing about it is like we are what in the third week since free agency has started, and the more days that goes by, the lower the market goes down. So you sitting here, like for example, Dalton Schultz, he signed for a max $9 million for 1 year in Houston, but he was looking for 12 or $13 million a year, and he had to settle. Running backs this year, outside of the two running backs who got franchise tag, the highest paid running back this year is getting paid $6 million, and I think it's for 1 year. So
And we've had that discussion before talking about running backs. Running
yeah,
backs, the value of running backs has dwindled significantly over the last
down.
over the last few years because people are starting to realize franchises are starting to realize that hey, I can go find a guy in on day 3 of the
Yes,
draft. He
yes,
can play for me for 4 years on a rookie deal,
yeah.
and then I can go find another one after 4 years. And unless he's a next generation talent, I'm not drafting until the end of day 2 or day 3. And
Pretty
then
much.
even then, if you drafting a guy, which something I would never do as a GM, But even if you draft the guy in the first or second round at running back, you don't have to keep him after his rookie deal.
Exactly.
Most
So,
most NFL running backs are not going to get lucrative second contracts. That's just what it is.
exactly. And you look at Tennessee trying to trade Derrick Henry. No one said anything. So Tennessee might have to get to a point where they just may have to cut him and just take their losses with him. And
Especially running backs with that style of play.
yes,
because the wear and tear. Like, would you rather buy a SUV that all it's been used for is highway miles, or would you rather buy an SUV that's been in downtown traffic every day, that has been owned by its previous owner?
hey, previous owner, downtown traffic. Also,
No, you don't want that, because the stop and go is a wear and tear on the engine.
oh, that's right. That's right. That's right.
Highway miles is much better.
That's right. My bad. My bad. My bad.
Yeah.
My bad. My bad.
So
Also, and we had this discussion in the group chat. Running backs, people were saying 30 years old is when running backs start to decline. It's really around 28 years old, 27, 28 years old. So Derrick Henry being, I think he's 30. I don't know why they said 30, but I don't think he's that old. I mean, he could be, but even at 28 years old, because he and Zeke were drafted the same year, like Zeke is 28 now. Like, both running backs are finished. Kamar's 28. I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens this year.
I see guys like Ezekiel Elliott and Derrick Henry.
And Leonard Fournette.
Derrick Henry is still under contract, but
Leonard Fournette
and Ezekiel Elliott, I see them getting signed later in the season when injuries start happening. They need extra running backs. They need extra bodies.
Yeah,
that's what I see happening. I don't see anybody bringing them into camp and saying, "Hey, yeah, you're gonna get the lion's share of the carries." No, sir.
No,
sir.
No.
I mean, the tread on that tire is bald. Yes, sir.
Actually, it might not even be much of a tire. It might just be the rim.
It could be. And from what we've seen from just using Ezekiel Elliott and Leonard Fournette as an example, from what we've seen from them this last season, there's not much to write home about. Okay. I made a TikTok post about it on Just the Fans TikTok page. I'm like, because the rumors out that Zeke wants to wear his college number again, and I'm like, just because you wearing your college number don't mean you're gonna get your college vitality back.
Exactly. What you were at Ohio State University, you are definitely not that in the NFL at this current age.
At this point. Absolutely.
That's 20 years old 19, 20 years old Ezekiel Elliott is different than 27, 28-year-old Ezekiel Elliott. I'm different at 38 years old than I was at 28 years old than I was at 18 years old.
Hey, man, I'm 48, so man, look, I get up hurting. Like, I didn't slept all night. I get up, just stuff just be hurting. I'll be like, hey, man, what? And I ain't played in the NFL. So,
right.
You know what I'm saying? So you can imagine. So, and that goes back to talking about, Austin Eckler. And even though I do agree he's vastly underpaid and he's a very versatile back, he's not going to get a lucrative deal unless some GM is really dumb. Oh, Tristan, get in the room. Zeke ran hard and took punishment on his body. Glorified fullback now. Yes. Or glorified center.
Yeah, I was. Yeah. Actually, yeah. What's up, T? Actually, I was gonna say he's not even a fullback. To be honest with you, because like a fullback, like you have to be good at. I mean, I'm not saying he's not good at blocking because he is, but he ain't gonna be able to take that kind of punishment. But yeah, goal line, third down, short yards back. That's what he is. That's exactly what he is now.
Well, let's get back on track because we kind of got off or went on a tangent, started talking about washed running backs or potentially washed running backs.
Yeah.
So let's get back, and I think it was your turn. You had to pick an AFC team.
Yeah, so my team is going to be the Tennessee Titans.
Okay, and what do you think their needs are for this upcoming draft?
All 5 on the offensive line. Okay. They need tackle, guard, and center. They lost Tyler Lewan. They cut him. Matter of fact, I heard he failed a physical. So that's part of the reason why he's still on the market. Um, they let go of their left guard. Um, Trisha, I'm assuming, are you talking about Tennessee T? Um, but yeah, now they brought in Andre Dillard, left tackle from Philadelphia. I don't like Andre Dillard because he's a first round bust in Philadelphia, and yeah, he's not at a left tackle. To me, he has bad hands, and Andre Dillard's just going to get beat. Um, I see T Money talking about Derrick Henry. Remember, T, they talking about trading Derrick Henry. Yes, wide receiver. I do have wide receiver on that list. They drafted a rookie last year. We'll see what happens in his development.
He's not an alpha dog.
No,
Even at the peak of his development, he's a gadget player. He's kind of like and I'm forgetting the kid's name right now, but he's kind of like a Debo Samuel who could probably make all pro just doing a whole bunch of different things, but
right.
not being a true receiver. So they're gonna need to go get a receiver, and luckily for them, there's a plethora of good receivers from round one all the way down to round seven.
And then
I've been reviewing film. There's a lot of good receivers in this draft, which I think is going to be the norm from here on out.
they said they need edge. They signed Arden Key, but Arden Key is either a rotational piece or he's a number two edge with a vicious number one. And what I mean by vicious number one, he needs to be a Nick Bosa. He needs to be a Son Reddick. He needs to be Myles Garrett type pass rusher. Um, Tristan's asking what happened to Malik Willis at quarterback. Um, Very good question. I don't think he didn't have a good season last year, did he?
Well, he
Malik
kind of got
Willis.
thrown to the wolves, to be fair. He
Oh
didn't
yeah,
start enough games to really get an accurate assessment. And not to go off on a tangent here, let's stop labeling quarterbacks bust when they don't have enough starts. Please stop doing that. There's
thank
people
you.
who do that all the time.
Yes.
There's a big conundrum right now with the whole quarterback situation in San Francisco that I don't want to get into. But there's a lot of people calling Trey Lance a bust. It's like the dude started 4 games. If you're calling him a bust, you're an idiot. And if
Exactly.
you're saying he's great, you're an idiot. We don't know what the hell he is right now. We got to see him play. So, but yeah, Malik Willis needs a shot to really prove that he can play. He didn't get
and for
enough
some and for some reason they said they're hanging on to Ryan Tannehill. So if you're hanging on Ryan Tannehill, why?
insurance.
Huh?
Insurance. It's the same concept as when they held on to Jimmy Garoppolo last year,
But
San Francisco. Even though
hold
you
on,
had
hold on,
Trey
hold on,
Lance.
hold on, hold on. Wait. See now you're talking, and so now you're gonna make me go look up stuff. Ryan Tannehill contract, O track. All right, Ryan Tannehill. So they can get out of his contract with an $18.8 million hit and save $27 million. So I mean, and he's 35. Well, if he's not 35, he's gonna be 35 soon. So yeah, so 34. So he's gonna be turning 35 before the season start. I don't see the need of keeping Ryan Tannehill. The only thing, and I'm throwing stuff out there. Are you are you trying to set up to try to get rid of Derrick Henry and maybe you trade Tannehill to Baltimore for Lamar Jackson? I know that sounds silly, but if is that the reason why you're hanging on to Ryan Tannehill? I'm talking. I'm spitting out my mouth. It's not
If
something
you're
I
a
would
Titans
do.
fan, please chime in and tell us your thoughts. But
It's not something I would do. I'm just spitting out there because I'm. Why are you hanging on Ryan Tannehill?
I
And
would.
you're not able to move off of Derrick Henry because you're trying to trade him. So you might as well cut him. Now I said this on the podcast last year. I said Derrick Henry probably would get moved eventually. So I was a year ahead. But I knew Derrick Henry wasn't going to last too much longer in Tennessee. I knew it.
No, that wear and tear on his body.
Yeah.
It's better to get rid of him while there is still tread on the tire, but there's not a lot of tread. There's gonna be some teams that's gonna be like, yeah, let's go get Derrick Henry. But no, because here's the thing: his cap hit, if I'm not mistaken, for 2023 is like $16 million.
See, Tennessee put themselves on two bad contracts. I mean, yeah, Derrick Henry was good for what 4 or 5 years, and that's great. But when you once you gave him that contract extension, you probably got another like 2 years out of him, and now it's like, okay, his body, he's done. He's done.
And then the dead money, if they cut him before June 1st, is like 10 million.
Mm.
They only saving like 6 million if you cut him after June 1st, which I think might be what they might do if they do cut him, like you were saying, Brandon. If they do cut him, they only cure maybe 5.3 in dead money. So they could save 11 million roughly.
It's
So
tough. It's tough. It's tough, man.
this was a bad contract.
Like, and when they gave Ryan Tannehill that contract, I said, "That's a bad contract, man. You're not going to get what you want." I know what. But Tristan, this is what you have to understand, okay? And we just finished talking about it. He is a running back. I'm not saying he fell off, but for him, hold on, how old is this guy? Derrick Henry is 29 years old, and we just said running backs start to fall down between 27 20 years old. He's 29. He's not. uh, Tristan, I get they did nothing to help him. I understand that, but running backs decline at his age now.
Running backs age like milk,
Yes,
bottom line. And it's like, I still feel like this. I'm kind of with you, Tristan. Uh, yeah, but you know what? Every time you're in a collision, Tristan, you notice you played ball. Even if you got the better of the guy, that's still a collision. That's
yes,
still wear and tear on your body. And for
yes,
someone who played in that style, who has that playing style, that shortens your career.
yes.
And is not worth $16 million. There's no way you could convince me that Derrick Henry is worth $16 million at this point. I love Derrick Henry. I'm a Derrick Henry fan. I
Right.
still like when he threw Josh Norman to the third row of the stands. That's still funny as hell to me. But let's be like, we got to put facts in front of feelings here. 16 million for a running back who's on a decline.
And my question is, what is Tennessee looking for in a trade? Are they looking? I mean,
And that's the next thing.
You're not getting a first round pick for him.
You're not getting a lot for him, period, because other teams have seen him take the hits. They've seen him make the hits. They've seen the punishment that he's dished out. And they've seen the wear and tear on his body. And they're looking at him going, 16 million. No, y'all gonna have to cut him. We might pick him up for what the little bit that he's got left, the little tread he's got. We'll pick him up after you cut him. We're not trading for him for 16 million. No, sir.
No, not
I
at
would
all.
not trade 60 million for
You might be lucky to get a 6th or 7th round pick from me. Maybe. And the only reason why you might be able to get a 7th round pick is because I'm just desperate enough. Be honest with you, with that 7th round pick, I'd rather give me one of those rookie free agents that's in high demand and make sure he's on my team. Alberto.
Almost. Wait, hold on. Wait for you. Go ahead. I'm gonna let you get this one.
I hear what you're saying because Dallas has had a reputation for physical running backs. Here's my problem. I feel like Dallas has now caught up to, and I hope I'm right because I could be wrong. I feel like Dallas is now caught up to this whole running back thing. Because they cut Zeke, they've been through DeMarco Murray, they've been through Marion Barber. They gave Marion Barber that second contract, and the wheels fell off fast. The wheel fell off so fast it looked like when the on ABC News on a highway in LA when the wheel fell off the truck and that car ran over the tire and flipped all the way up in the air and stuff. That's how bad it was. Okay. They did not give DeMarco Murray a second contract, but when DeMarco Murray only had one good season, and that was in Philadelphia after leaving Dallas, and that was year one, that was it. Zeke, Zeke had what, 3, 4 good years, gave him that contract extension, did nothing else for us. So I'm assuming, Alberto, that Dallas is finished with this whole running back thing. Now, could they draft one in the first round this year? Possibly, but they also may not give that man a second contract either. So Dallas trading for Derrick Henry to me makes absolutely 0 sense. Plus,
16 million. That's all I got to say.
plus Dallas is good at drafting, so I trust Dallas drafting a running back more than I see them trading for a running back.
It's cheaper to grow one.
Hey,
than to go buy. It's cheaper to grow one than to go buy you one that's been used already.
Alberto,
16 million.
Alberto, if you're new to this channel, I'm a Cowboys fan, and I know my Cowboys inside out.
And welcome, Alberto. Make sure.
Welcome. Yeah, welcome to just because
make sure you hit the like and subscribe button, please.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen you before. So if you're new, welcome to the channel. Like I said, hit the like, subscribe channel button. Turn your notifications on. We'll tell you all the other good stuff later on in the show. Your turn for NFC. You got 2 more teams. I got 2 more teams.
All right. I guess I'll go ahead and I'm not calling them in the order that I think they'll finish. Let me be, because some people might be watching this. Oh, this is the order they think they're gonna finish. No, that's a whole nother set of shows that we're gonna cover. Right now, we're doing draft needs right now.
Yeah, that's all we're doing.
Later on, we'll talk about how we think they'll finish. But draft needs, Carolina Panthers, quarterback. I think it's pretty obvious with the moves that they made this offseason.
They go quarterback, man.
Yeah, who that quarterback is, we don't know. We have a friend of ours named Jason who's in our NFL chat group, and he is hilarious. Shout out to Jason. I know he's not watching, but he's like, hey, man, I'm just ready to just mail it in, dog. I'm going to burn all my stuff. So don't do that, man. Don't do that. But it's a question of who that quarterback is going to be. It's obviously they're going to draft a quarterback with that first overall pick. It's got to be the smart choice. And from what I'm hearing from the few Carolina Panthers fans that I know, they are not very high on Sheldon Richardson because they understand it's going to take
time
to develop him. Anthony Richardson. I'm sorry, I keep getting that messed up. But they're not very high on him because he's a developmental quarterback. He's got a high ceiling, but he had a fantastic workout. But we all know he's raw.
Yeah, raw, definitely.
And just because he has the same dimensions as a Cam Newton, oh God, don't get me started talking about him. But he has the same dimensions as a Cam Newton does not mean he's going to be a Cam Newton.
Thank you.
We don't know who that quarterback is going to be. Tristan seems to believe it's going to be Bryce Young. I really don't care because I'm going to say, again, another unpopular opinion of mine. I don't think any of these quarterbacks in this draft are ready to start. And I'm going to leave it at that.
I tell you what, there's one quarterback I'm crossing off the list, and I'm not even a Panthers fan. I definitely know it's not Will Levis from Kentucky. I'm 95%. I'm 95% certain that it's not going to be Will Levis from Kentucky. I would be more shocked if Carolina took Will Levis than they would if they took any other quarterback.
Well, we all see they sure made the draft interesting by that. So Bryce, okay, Tristan seems to believe that if you took Bryce Young with the weapons that Carolina has, wait a minute.
He'll be out there for Frank.
What weapons do Carolina have?
Adam Thielen. Don't you know they got Adam Thielen, man?
Oh yeah, Adam Thielen. Woo.
33-year-old wide receiver.
Woo. Oh yeah, DJ Chark. Do.
Don't do that to me. Don't do that to me. Don't do that to me.
So you got DJ Chark and Adam Thielen. Okay.
Oh, I like this bold prediction.
Okay. Tristan believes that Will Levis will end up in the second round. We get on track. We're gonna cover that later.
No. Because I like this. Look at this.
Because we have a show the week before the draft where we're gonna actually go into the actual talking about the players in
Hey
the draft. But
T,
right now,
hey T, hold on, real quick, hold on, quick. Hey, I thought about that this morning. I said I would not be surprised if Hooker get drafted before Levis. I know he's coming off a torn ACL. I would not be surprised.
well, Tristan, we need you to actually come on the show and give us your quarterback breakdown where you talk about these quarterbacks, okay? Or go ahead and do your TikTok videos about them. Anyway, moving forward, I still feel like even though they have a star in the making at corner, I think the corner is still a issue that they need to address in Carolina. And I do feel like they haven't had a sufficient edge rusher since
Hassan
since Hassan Reddick bounced out of there. You know, and really he didn't hit his peak till after he left. Really, he was good, but he's wow in Philadelphia. So I'm looking at edge and corner on the defensive side of the ball. They lost Steve Wilkes as a defensive coordinator. So I know the new defensive coordinator may want to bring in guys that fit his scheme. I'm looking for the Carolina Panthers after they select their quarterback. I think that this draft for them is going to be defense heavy. I believe they're looking at their needs. So that's Carolina.
Let me ask you a question, because I'm looking at their roster real quick. They still have Brian Burns, who's a good pass rusher. What happened to your Ted Gross models?
Say again?
You remember your Ted Gross models?
No.
You don't remember him? He was drafted second round of 2020 NFL draft. And I don't think he's done anything. He got 8.5 sacks, but he hasn't done anything since he's been in the league. Yeah, Ted Gross models. I remember him coming out of college. Yeah, and Tristan.
And he was drafted by Carolina?
Yes, in the second round 2020 NFL
okay,
draft.
so the fact that I haven't heard of him let you know.
Now Tristan's right. Brian Burns isn't bad. JC Horns, if he stays healthy, but they had another corner they brought in, former first round talent pick, CJ Henderson.
He never really panned out. That's why.
Yeah, he's not panning out.
They're gonna dip back in there and get a corner. Especially, I'm gonna be honest, and not to cut y'all, Brandon. I'm gonna be honest. Every team in the NFL in this draft should draft a corner. It's gonna be hard to miss. This is another strong cornerback draft.
Hey, corners are deep this year.
Yeah, go on to grab you one sometime between the first and third rounds.
Yes, you took the words out of my mouth. First and third rounds of time, take a corner.
And dare I say it, maybe early in the fourth. They gonna last that long.
Yeah.
Go and grab you a corner. Because my mindset is, how many defensive backs do you need? The answer is more.
Thank you.
It's not a number, because it's a passing league. You got to defend the pass.
Yes.
And this is a deep cornerback draft. And probably from the first round to probably mid fourth round, stretching a bit, you're probably going to find a quality corner that can be either a strong depth piece or a starter for you.
Yes.
Every team, all 32 teams need to grab at least one corner. Even if you don't need one, just go and grab one. Because if you do your homework on them, you're probably going to find a good one. Yeah. So I'm going to keep saying corner, even though, because you got to get to your team. But when I get to my last team, which is New Orleans Saints, I'm going to say corner, even though they got a great secondary. Go ahead.
Oh, man. Well, even though I should start with a certain position with this team, since you already said it, I'm going to start off with the cornerback position. Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah, because they just lost Gilmore. Rocky Sin is a free agent. Wait, I'm sorry. Rocky Sin was with the Raiders before. He's with the Colts, then he went to the Raiders. So he's already been gone. I apologize for that mistake. But
yeah, corner, because they lost somebody. Who was it? I saw the name. Give me a second, y'all. Had y'all up here. Oh, some dude named Brandon Frayson, whoever that is. So he probably some fourth string corner, but it's still corner. So you need corner. They need 2, maybe 3, 4, 5, 6. So definitely draft a corner at some point. They definitely need a quarterback in Indianapolis. Matt Ryan's no longer there. I think Nick Foles is Nick Foles still there? Hold on. I know. Oh, your favorite quarterback still there, Sam Ellinger.
Man, you
Yeah,
don't get.
he's still there. Matter of fact, I heard the 49ers might trade for him.
Don't play on me like that. Don't play
Oh
on me.
yeah, yeah. So Nick Foles is still in Indianapolis. I mean, but right. I mean, at this point, to me, he's like Case Keenum. He's a band-aid quarterback. He's a band-aid quarterback. Um, I look at his contract some other time, but Foles is not the long-term answer. Ellinger is not the long-term answer. We'll see. Let's see what the
It's,
Colts do.
it's obviously quarterback.
Yeah, quarterback,
It's obviously.
cornerback. They need a wide receiver to help out Michael Pittman. They need an edge rusher. Samson Ekubom, whatever, is a rotational guy. You know,
Here's the thing about Samson. I think it's a Bukum. Here's the thing about Samson Abukum. He's built, when you look at him, he looks like a quintessential pass rusher, just get after the quarterback type of guy. But in truth, he plays the run better as a defensive end than he is a pass rusher. And he doesn't look like he looks like he gets pushed around by tackles, but he gets around him, gets underneath him, and he sets the edge really well. He's a great run defending defensive end. And honestly, he's slight in the frame, so he kind of looks like a linebacker almost in some cases. But he's not a pass rusher. They put him on the other side of Nick Bosa, and he just kind of was like, eh. So he's not a real pass rusher. So I agree with you that the Colts are going to have to look at going after an edge rusher in this draft.
and then they need a safety and a linebacker because they have Darius Leonard. They lost their other linebacker Bobby to the Giants.
Okukere.
Yeah, that's his last name.
I think I pronounced it right. I hope I didn't butcher that man's name.
You probably did, but anyway, he went to the Giants. He was one of those linebackers who was underrated in the free agency market. He was a Matt Eberflus guy at linebacker, which tells me he's very smart. And to lose a linebacker like that is tough. Like I said, even though you have Darius Leonard, but you can always use a second linebacker in today's league.
You need at least two good ones. If you got three, you doing well.
Oh yeah,
you need two because let's be honest, base defense now is nickel. It's two backers.
It's two backers.
You ain't finna be out there with three backers unless you like in goal line and you defending, inside from the 10 in.
Right.
But nowadays most people's base defense is two backers, two corners, a nickel, two safeties. So
yeah, that's what it is. Who's your final team?
My final team for talking about draft needs in the NFC South is none other than the Who Dat Nation, the New Orleans Saints. They just added Derek Carr. They did really well.
He's a Saint.
Huh?
He's a Saint.
He is a Saint. He's past the Derek Carr. I listened to one of his sermons. It was actually pretty good. All three levels of the defense need to be bolstered. I know that sounds crazy because the Saints had a good defense this year, but the wide receiver comes first, but then all three levels of the defense. Because I truly feel like Michael Thomas is going to break a nail and be out for the season. Chris Olave is slowly but surely developing into an alpha dog receiver. He's looking good, but he's gonna need a Robin to play next to his Batman.
Yes,
and Michael Thomas is gonna break a nail.
Now, which nail are you
probably running a slant?
Is it gonna be the pinky one?
And he's gonna be out for the season. Which New Orleans, I'm very disappointed that y'all kept him around. I'm really disappointed in y'all. I thought y'all knew better. That's cap money y'all could have saved, but. Here he is.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, short of all ages, if you know anybody that can fix a broken nail, Um, please refer him. Please refer that person. Please refer Michael Thomas to that person or whatever, because he's gonna need it on week one of the season.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But yeah, they need to address wide receiver. Um, Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. New Orleans has been infamous in finding receivers nobody's ever heard of and making good players out of them.
Colston.
Right. But all of this happened during the Sean Payton era. Sean Payton's not there anymore. You have a defensive minded head coach. Probably need to go get you a name brand wide receiver. Stop pulling in the great value wide receivers and go get you name brand. Okay. But I believe they have some needs at, I want to say edge. Um,
Yeah, because what's his name needs help? Cam Jordan. I
yeah,
mean, they drafted him Davenport, and Davenport never did anything. And Davenport went somewhere.
yeah. Davenport's gone, and he was a rotational piece, so he really
But
wasn't
he was
like
drafted in the first round to be a big help to Cam Jordan and
he
did
turned out
nothing.
not to be. He just turned out to be pretty decent and not great.
Yeah, he just matter of fact, you know who he reminds me of? Who also didn't do much? Um, um, Ezekiel Ansah, Detroit
Yeah,
Lions.
yeah. Depth piece. He
Yeah,
got drafted really high, but yeah,
they got they got drafted off of their athletic look.
yeah. But they didn't really pan out like they were
They
supposed to.
did nothing.
So, but yeah, so left guard is a need. Talking about Andrews Pete is gone. Um, you still run again. I'm not going. I probably won't ever put running back as a need, and simply because you you know my philosophy on running backs. So you can grab a running back. I don't put that as a need. You can grab a running back day 3 and do wind up being a monster. But there's a need at running back. Okay.
Now,
But
how
it's
old
not
is Mark?
pressing.
Oh, Mark Ingram's 33.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know he was that old already.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God.
And a free agent.
Yeah, yeah, he need to retire.
Yeah. And so
Yeah, that's it.
you had a departure market, Keith Kirk. Well, Keith Kirkwood will resign, but Marcus Callaway's gone. Um Jarvis Landry has he resigned? I
No,
think
he. I thought he went somewhere else.
he did.
Hold on, Jarvis. Jarvis Landry. Where did you go?
Gotta be hard to leave home.
Oh, he's a free agent.
He still hadn't been signed yet.
Yeah, he's a free agent. My mistake on
Hmm.
that one.
Now that's interesting. Why hasn't he resigned yet?
You know what? It's probably he probably outpriced himself.
And he's 31.
And he's still a good. In my opinion, he's a good number 2 receiver. If you, but I mean, the draft is good with receivers. So I don't know, man.
Yeah, so when you're a free agent wide receiver, unless you one of the top 10, a lot of teams are going, hey man, we can go draft this guy and pay his rookie deal for 4 years.
Yeah,
Especially if you're an older wide receiver who's good but not great.
yeah. Now
OBJ.
he's a great route runner. He can catch the ball. So I mean, right now he's a great chain mover. So if you're a team that has a young quarterback, Carolina, Houston coming up, he will be a great chain mover for you. A security blanket for your young quarterback, because I mean that's easy completions. A route
Yeah.
runner who catch the ball. Now you also got to remember too, and I know I said a great route runner, but his draft numbers were terrible. So I wonder if he's slowing down at wide receiver.
That's you know,
I don't know. I'm just asking. I don't know if Landry's slowing down or not. I don't know.
gotta be a reason why they didn't hurry up and re-sign him. Talking about a hometown boy, solid player. I just
And he doesn't get in trouble. Not that I can remember. It's not like he's gunning a Sikh guy. It's not like he's uh hit some woman upside the head type guy. I haven't heard anything about him. So I'm trying to is he either outpriced himself or he's declining athletically worse than what he already is coming out the combine.
I don't know.
Can he
But
is is, is he bad at creating separation? Is my question.
and that begs that's a really really good question because I have to admit I have not been watching his situation very closely because I had already assumed he had either re-signed or had been signed somewhere else.
Eric, I'm gonna tell you something right now, and that might be a conversation we're gonna have in the group tomorrow. A lot of these there's some free agent names out there still hanging around, and like you said earlier in the beginning of the show, they have either outpriced themselves, they are injury prone, their play has declined, and it's not just running backs. It's just, just if you were to look at what free agents are left over, you really had to sit there and ask yourself, okay, what is it? It's got to be his age, injury history,
Injury. I was about to say injury history
injury history,
or
and
just playing ability.
playing ability outpriced themselves. That's four things you got to look at.
Yeah. So you got Andre Robinson, AJ Green, who are 35 years old, and T.Y. Hilton's 34, Julio's 34, Adam Thielen's 33. He's got a deal, but the next youngest guy is Robert Woods, who's 31. So that bears some discussion, and we're out of time. But that's a very good discussion.
I got one more team.
Oh yeah, you do have one more team. Okay, yeah, we got
real quick. I'm gonna spitfire this.
Okay.
Jacksonville corner definitely safety, D line. I think that says guard. I think I wrote down guard. For some reason it says edge, but they have Josh Allen, not quarterback Josh Allen, but edge rusher Josh Allen, who's good. And they drafted Walker last year in the first round from Georgia. It says tight end. I don't know why. You have Evan Ingram. I mean, if you want depth at edge and tight end, fine. But Jacksonville holds the cards in their hands in this division as of right now. They have another good draft. They should be fine. And they might run away with the division. They really would. They probably will run away with the division. So
we're gonna see how they draft. We definitely know that they're well coached. So
yes, especially on my offense. And now you add Calvin Ridley to Christian Kirk and okay.
Yeah, they're a well coached team.
Yes,
so
yes.
We're gonna see. So that kind of closes our show out for tonight. We just discussed the AFC and NFC South, their draft needs. Next week, we're going to talk about we're going to move another direction, talk about the NFC and AFC needs.
North.
Brandon says we're going north. So, in the words of Leonidas, I think I'll head north. So we're going to go north, and we're going to be talking about the NFC North.
You're going to head up down the Gulf Coast.
And we'll be talking about those draft needs. That's going to be our series running for the next 3 shows. We're going to be talking about draft needs of teams based on the conference in that direction.
Yes.
And the show right before the NFL draft, we're going to go in depth talking about players. We really, really, really would love for you to come in and give us your feedback and different guys that you'd like us to look at. Right now, we're doing a thing on TikTok. We've already done a couple of videos, draft spotlight. We're picking random players in the draft, and we're doing spotlights on them. I just recently did one on Jartavius Martin out of Illinois. He's a defensive back. If you'd like me or Brandon or Tristan or Steve to spotlight a certain player, hit us up on our TikTok and say, hey, do such and such. And we'll do a draft spotlight for you. Just give us some suggestions.
Actually, you can hit us up on any of the social media platforms. You can hit us up on TikTok.
Honestly,
We
any
just
of them.
started TikTok,
Yeah.
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. So hit us up on there. Leave old comments in the YouTube on the previous YouTube video, and we'll address it. Currently, we're live on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. Like I said, you can follow us now on TikTok. We just started over the weekend. We have 6-7 videos up altogether. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. You can also listen to us on Google, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Anything else? Yeah, I said we're doing North. Okay, you said everything else. Okay, so that's it. I am quarter host of the show, Brandon Williams, NFL Encyclopedia. That direction, the defensive minded guy from H-Town, Pando 316. This guy, T Money, is another host on the show. He just couldn't make it tonight. It's all good. He's the quarterback that runs this whole thing. He's the quarterback that runs this whole thing. I said I'm the Wildcat quarterback that runs this thing. It's a difference. So, anyway, good night. See y'all next week. We're live next week again, 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. Peace.